Hi there, everyone. Nuria slash Selpide speaking as always. And today we are at yet another random place. We are in the fourth floor of one of Sogang's university buildings, the Xavier Hall building, which is where I take most of my classes because, as always, I couldn't find a silent place to record this, and we're sitting on a couch. It's weird, but it's fine. I think we're fine. And as always too, I am not alone. I am in good company, in company of Jasmine. Jasmine, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine and I am an English literature major here at Seoul University, and this is actually my first semester here.
Yeah. It's funny because it's also my first semester here, even though I'm not from here. Anyway, until now we've been trying to define what home is, as in it being, for example, I cannot speak today and I will say sorry in advance for that. Home being a place or a feeling, and today we're kind of drifting a bit away from that to explore a theme that is not exactly defining the concept of home, but I thought it was also interesting and important to talk about, and it is home isn't home, or when you are the place that is supposed to feel like home to you, but you still don't feel like it is. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking about it the first time I moved, and so I actually have talked about this thing in particular, about not feeling like home in your own home with a lot of people, and most of us all share the same experience, that we realized this thing could happen when we moved from our original home. I don't mean that it can only happen to you if you move, but I think it's something that usually happens. For example, I don't know if I already talked about this. If I have, I am sorry, guys, that you have to listen to this over and over again. But I was born in a small city in the south of Spain, Algeciras, and that's its name. And I spent there all my childhood and teenage years, but I had to move for the 2 last years of high school. And the new house in that new city, called Jerez, was supposed to make me feel like home because it had most of my stuff. My parents were there, my cat was there. I miss my cat here, by the way. And still, it didn't feel like home. Even now that years have passed and I have built memories in the new city, I have friends there, and that's the place where I come back to when I am away. When I come back from Korea, I will go there. I don't entirely feel like I belong there. I feel like I am watching from afar when I am there. I'm not entirely in my own body, which sounds weird, but I swear that's how it feels.
Makes sense.
So home isn't home. And so, yeah, that's as I said, drifting away from the defining what home is structure. But this is something that happens, so I think it should be spoken about. And you have experienced stuff like this, and that's why I wanted you to be here today.
Yeah, so I can relate to that situation a lot, in that I was born and raised in the Philippines, and I attended there from first grade to senior year, and I graduated high school. But I came to Korea for college. So Korea is my parents' home country, and it's my passport country, and supposedly the place I'm supposed to call home. But this place, I've only come here maybe every 3 or so years during the summer, and not more than 2 months at a time. So every time I came, because Korea is such a fast-moving country, everything was different every time I came. Everything was developed, new buildings and just new places. Not to mention that we never stayed in the same place whenever we visited, so it was a new city and always a new building house that we were staying at. So we don't have a physical home here either, so I don't have an actual place I can call, I'm at home in Korea. So it's not like Korea is home.
You don't have a place to change your memories to, that you could at least go back to and feel this is where that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I never had a place I could settle or really call mine here. And even right now, as I'm attending Seoul, since I'm not staying in the dorms, I'm living with my relatives for this semester. And it's a temporary situation, as I'll have to find somewhere else to live next semester. So I kind of feel like I'm floating and just drifting right now. I can't really settle settle down and like place roots anywhere since I know I'm going to be leaving. So it's, I don't know, really disorienting, I guess.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like the way you put it into words,
Yeah.
like, I felt that. Yeah, but it's interesting. Like, well, not. I use interesting, and it sounds like I enjoy it. I'm so sad that we have to feel like this.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because there has to be a reason why we don't feel like home, even though like the setting and the characteristics should make it feel like home. Because like you, for example, you're staying with your relatives, so like family is supposed to make you feel at home or whatever. And this house is that I live in Jerez now. Like we were renting a place before, but now we bought a house.
Oh, okay.
So it is officially my house. I didn't have like an actual house for tons and tons of years because we were rented, and now we do. But it still doesn't.
Yeah.
So what can make a home not feel like home? Because we've tried to see in the past episodes what can make a home feel like home, but I feel like the other way around, it's more complicated. Because you always go first in terms of home. You always go first to like physical things, you know, because it's the first idea that comes to our minds. For example, if you have bad memories of a place or people that you don't like around you, the conditions will make it worse. Like it will be harder for you to like feel like in home. For example, here in Sogang, I have a roommate, and she's like one of my friends here. Like, you know, you meet a lot of people, but you make few actual friends. And she's one of those few actual friends. I love her so much. But the thing is, I've never had to share a room with someone. I'm an only child. And I can't, like, it is a big obstacle for me to feel like home, not having a minimum personal space just for myself. So that is one example of that. I don't know if it ever happened to you.
For me, I don't know if this is related, but as I mentioned, I'm living with my relatives, and as you mentioned before, technically, since they're a family, they should feel like home, but I haven't actually seen these relatives for, it's been maybe 4 years since I've actually properly, like, seen them and interacted with them, and since I never came to Korea very often, I saw them even less over the years. And they're my mom's side of the family, and they're close. My mom's close with her siblings and like her nieces and nephews, but it's actually been even longer since I've seen my cousins, like 8 years.
Ooh.
So we saw each other when we were really little, and then now I'm seeing them as we're all like adults and like all grown up. So interacting with them and just, I guess, trying to find common ground has been hard. And it doesn't help that we're all on the quiet side, so nobody's like outgoing and like starting the conversation first.
Nobody takes like the first step.
Yeah, exactly. They're all really nice people. It's just been hard to be able to like settle in this new place, but also with new people in a sense.
That's true.
So
it's
been a challenge.
I feel like the family thing is a very important one. Also regarding to like it hasn't ever happened to me, but like abusive households, not even to that extent, but just in general, like sometimes you just don't fit with your family, and like the media and like films, TV, everything. Disney, for example, is like a big fan of that. They show us that your family is your family no matter what, and that they stick for you, and that you have to stick for them even if things are bad, and so your home should always be your home too. But I feel like it's important to put some distance to that and like to keep in mind that blood means whatever you make it mean, meaning you yourself and your family. You can have an amazingly good relationship with your family. You can just like not even call it your family, and you can have like just a cordial, you know, like, okay, we get along, but that's it. And I don't like, I know this hasn't got that much to do with home or anything, but it's an important thing to, I feel, keeping that in mind, because a lot of people are forced to stay in homes that are like dangerous for them, like mentally speaking. So that's an important thing, but we should probably head back to the theme of this, which is things that can make a home not feel like home. I have another suggestion. your own state of mind,
Yes.
because it is you in the end who believes to be or not to be at home.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you
True.
can control it,
Yeah.
because if you could control it, we would
Yeah,
all
yeah,
feel like home all the time. But if your inside isn't okay, I mean, like your mental health, it is more complicated to feel comfortable with the outside. For example, in Madrid, like as I told you, I was like born on a city called Algeciras, then I moved to Jerez,
Yeah.
then I moved to Madrid for university,
okay.
just as you did.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was my dream, like for a lot of years, to move to Madrid because I had a lot of friends there, and it's like the capital, and so it seems like,
Yeah.
I don't know, endless possibilities where
Yeah,
dreams are
yeah.
made of, that kind of stuff. And I told myself, literally until I came here, that I was very happy to be there, you know, that it was like a fulfillment for me. And I got used to the places and to the people and to the routine. But I am just now noticing none of it has ever felt like home, because I was just in an automatic mode for like the 2 last entire years. I was not like in a good mental health state, so I was just like trying to push that away and like keep going.
Yeah,
Just don't
yeah.
think, just keep going, everything's fine. And it wasn't fine. And so I think I couldn't like grow roots into that place
Yeah.
because of how I was feeling on the outside. And things are changing now for better, I think. And so maybe if this theory is true, then I will feel like home when I get back. So I will tell you in a couple of months. But yeah.
Yeah, so kind of related to that with how it's a matter of mindset. So I've lived in the Philippines all my life, and I came to Korea in May, so it's actually been the longest since I've stayed in Korea, since before the longest was 2 months.
Okay.
So, but even knowing that I'll be here for at least my undergrad years at Hong Kong, I don't know what happened after that, but I know I'll be here for at least the next 3 to 4 years. But even knowing that, I feel like in the back of my head, I have this temporary mindset.
Okay, yeah.
Even more so because I know my living situation now is temporary, and I don't know where I'll be next semester. So that adds to this whole just temporariness. And so
Yeah, wait a sec. Because as I told you guys, we're like in the middle of a building and anyone can get in because it's like a building from uni, and someone just came interrupting like this very emotional thing. Please go on.
Yeah, so for me, living with this mindset that this country is temporary, I don't know, it's making me feel unsettled, I guess. It's kind of my own fault, but at the same time,
Yeah, but it's
not
not
used to
your
it.
fault, you know?
Yeah.
Because as we said before, you can't control
Yeah,
it.
that's true. Yeah, so, yeah, my mind's not really letting me settle down and make myself feel at home. So,
Yeah.
process I'm working on right now, I guess.
I feel like it's a very animal thing that we do, because we are setting like the mode for
Yeah.
like, oh, keep like your eyes open.
Yeah.
Something can happen.
Staying alert.
Yeah, instead of just like you said,
Yeah,
settling down. I guess we
Yeah.
have to work on that.
Yeah.
Do you have any other things in mind?
Something else I thought of was language, especially if, like, especially for you, if like a foreign country and then a foreign
That's
language. And even though I'm technically Korean by blood and by passport country,
Yeah.
like the Korean language is still really difficult for me. I can speak it well enough to have normal conversations and be okay in my classes to some extent.
That's important.
Yes. But when it comes to like slang or the current, I guess, trending words and phrases, I don't know what anyone is talking about. It's like Koreans tend to shorten words so much,
Okay.
and I'm like, I don't know what that acronym means, and they just say it like normally in normal conversation, and like I want to ask, but at the same time, I don't want to
Look
make
like-
myself more of an outsider than I already am,
Okay, yeah.
because people know, most people know that I'm overseas Korean, so they know I didn't attend high school here.
Yeah.
So I already feel like I stick out because of that, but if I add this to the mix, so
That
language
makes
has been hard.
a lot of sense, and it's
Yeah.
very sad. Like, because what would be like the correct approach to that? I don't know what to tell you. Because as you said, but it sucks like sticking out as an outsider because of things that you couldn't choose, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm sorry, this was supposed to be a lighthearted episode and like with funny stuff. But I guess time will make it easier.
Yeah.
Because as you said, and maybe in that matter too, it will help to your brain settling down. Because once you spend like a whole year here or some more time, you will start to get slang. Even without asking, it will be like, oh, these two people use that. Because when I moved, I just remember something stupid that it cannot be compared with your situation because it's something extremely dumb. But when I moved from Algeciras to Jerez, they're both cities in the same region. Okay. So we are supposed to use like the same vocabulary and everything. We were supposed. But? So we got there, and I don't know how to explain this in English. Everyone in my class was using one expression in particular, which is like "qué tarro," which means what a pot, like a pot of like what you put things inside, right? Or a jar or something. Yeah. What a pot or what a jar, and I was like, it literally made the same sense to me as it is making to you now. Okay. I had never heard of that. They even used it like as an adjective, you know, like what a jarry thing. And I was like, what does that mean? And like everyone was using it in every single conversation, and I felt like I couldn't ask because I was like the new girl already, and it was like everyone knows me because I'm the new girl, and I don't want to keep, as you said, like standing out. It turns out it was like, how funny. It makes no sense at all. But now I use it a lot now. Like as the time passed, I discovered eventually what it was used to.
That's interesting.
And now some of my friends in Madrid, like I use it so much, they sometimes say it too. So maybe it will come to a time when you do that too. I know it's not the same at all. Sorry for putting.
It's similar, no. Makes sense.
Yeah. Still, I don't know. I did not come up with more stuff that can make you not feel like home. But it's definitely like there's more factors like in the way, of course. But this like whole category in general leads us to another important point. How when you're at a home that doesn't feel like home, you still have to properly function as a human being. As we said, like in your case, you have to like graduate.
Yes.
And in my case, well, when I was in Madrid, and I still am in Madrid, I have to graduate too. Yes. So you just push yourself to keep going, even if you don't feel okay. Because like, life keeps going, you know? And in some situations, it's good to have that idea that you gotta keep going on because it can like get you up when you're down. But sometimes you kind of need to rest. And this mindset, as you said, doesn't let you rest. And it's not something specifically of homesickness and not feeling like home and whatever. It happens with any kind of stressful and or traumatic situation that you are going through some shit, but you still need to live. But the thing is, when you go through this, the place you go like to rest is your home. And the whole problem here is that you don't have a place to call home. Exactly. So not having it can make it worse in a sort of like never-ending cycle of bad things. So you have to look for alternatives. And that's where I was going to head. Where do you go to when home isn't home? Like not only physically, like I go to a bakery, but I eat a lot of cake. But like, what do you do?
For me, even if it's not the home isn't home kind of feeling, just in general, I tend to immerse myself in like books and like reading because this may sound really cliche, but like when you read, especially if it's like fiction books, you're kind of transported to this different world that the author created. So reading is really comforting to me, and also binging on YouTube videos, of course, which may not be healthy, but it's still a method that I use.
I mean, it is good as long as it makes you feel better.
It works. And especially recently, since I came to Korea, I've been realizing more and more like the importance of having close friends, and especially ones who can relate to your situation and understand what you're going through. I've met a lot of really great people like through my classes and through the Hug Club here.
The Hug Club, like a small explanation. The Hot Club is like a very, very cool organization in our uni here called Hands App for Gathering, Hack. And they just like gather around exchange and Korean students, and we organize like field trips and activities, and it's super cool, and you meet a lot of people. Sorry.
I actually met her through Hug.
Yeah, we met through Hug. When we went to a palace, we were in the same, because they organize it in groups.
Yeah.
And so we go to places in groups, and we have to like take pictures in certain spots, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun that day, actually. I think it was my favorite field trip.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry for giving all that info to you, a stranger who is listening to this.
So as I was saying, with meeting like so many good people, as much as I'm really grateful for the people I've met, I've also realized since a lot of them are born and raised in Korea, they can't really relate to
what you're going
like,
through.
Yeah, the home isn't home situation. So just being able to chat with friends from home or like call with them, it's really making me appreciate people more in my life and just making me miss home a lot more than I thought I would. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but it is true. Like, well, everything you said is true. But two things in particular that you said, I'm also, like, I adore literature. Like, that's what I actually want to do in the future. I want to write books. And me so, too. Yeah, high five. It's a good way of discovering that. You're right?
Yeah, I really love
Okay,
it.
we'll talk about this later. But, like, I feel like it's important. There's a lot of ways you can build a home out of home. And actually, there's an episode that's going to be just about that. Spoiler. But I feel like having narratives that are not the real world narrative still help you to go through it.
Yeah.
Books or even YouTube, as you said, I sometimes... Like, I'm going to talk about K-pop now. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm going to talk about K-pop. But very slightly. Very slightly, I swear. But the thing is, I didn't really care that much about K-pop. I discovered randomly Red Velvet, which is like a girl band. And I started liking, I enjoyed their music. I cannot stand a group if I don't like their music. Yeah. That's the basic thing. But what really brought me into becoming a really, really diehard fan was like the relationship within like the members. Sorry, because there's more people here again. But the thing is, I sometimes like would miss my friends or would miss like plans with them or stuff like that, and I could watch videos of these girls like having the kind of fun that I wanted to have. It sounds really sad now that I'm putting it into words, but the thing is, it gives you hope of like, oh, I can do that at some point, or there's people out there who make like close bonds and have close people, and that's the reason why I like them so much, which I guess is kind of weird. But I feel like one of the ways you can build, or you can stop feeling homeless at home, as you said before, which I really like how you put it into words, is by creating a narrative, a parallel narrative where you can like get stuff, like get little pieces that make you feel like home, bring it together like a cozy thing to put on and just use it. And what you said about friends, that's all I wanted to add. I feel like you really get to know, we've spoken about this in other episodes, but when you go away from home and you need to go back, that's what you know what home feels like. Yeah. So it also happened to me when I moved to Madrid, and now that I moved here with my friends from Madrid, that I know which ones of them are like the closest to me and the most important ones, because not only because of the relationship we have here, but because they're the ones that I want to see the most. Like, I miss the most and stuff. I don't know if that happens to you too.
Makes sense.
I don't know what we were talking about actually. Where do you go when home?
Right. Yeah.
Is it home? Okay. I don't know what I do. Let me think for a second. Okay, because I literally just walk. What I also do the reading or the watching videos, as I said. But I just walk. I go out and wander around for hours, one day at a time. So that one day I find myself recognizing the streets and knowing the shortcuts and the little shops and the small pieces of nature that grow between the asphalt, and realizing that you can connect the spots in the city and make a map in your mind. that makes me feel like I know the city. And so it also shows me that I know me back. Does it make sense?
It makes sense to me.
It makes sense to you? Okay. Like, I know the city and I know me back.
Yeah.
We kind of greet each other in some sort of way. And that way, even if I still cannot embrace the fully belonging here thing, like not here nor in Madrid, I feel something similar, like to peace and quiet, because I know the streets, I know the signs, I won't get lost. And that kind of makes me a citizen in sort of way. Like, if I won't get lost here, it kind of gives me the right to feel like I belong here. And I try to trick myself into thinking that. It helps me feel like my feet are tied to some place and I won't like go away flying or something like that. And I just go with music on and my headphones and keep walking. Yeah.
Kind of related to that. So from where I'm staying in, the place I'm staying in now with my relatives and my English, I'm sorry. Basically, it takes me an hour to get to school from home, including like 20-30 minutes of walking and subway. So because the house itself is like a 15-minute walk away from the subway station, initially just trying to get used to like finding my way was a huge challenge. And I just wasn't used to it because back at home in the Philippines, things are so, I mean, of course it's because I've lived there for a long time, but I'm used to all the streets and all the, like the corners and everything. So like getting from one place to another wasn't that big of a deal. And also walking there wasn't really an ideal situation. You took a lot of taxis there since it was also a lot cheaper. But in Korea, I've been doing a lot of walking.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, lots of walking, lots of exercise. But it took me maybe 3 to 4 weeks since I started school to finally get used to the route from home to school and back. And now I can just walk without really thinking, like almost like just automatically. And it's a small thing, but at the same time, it's really comforting to know that I can be like the other Koreans and that I don't need to look at my phone to look at like which station do I need to go to. I don't need to use a navigation app. It's, I don't know, really comforting in that sense. I feel like I've adjusted in that way. So
that's nice. We're compensating the sad things that we talked about before.
That's true.
I think it really is like a big deal. The moment you realize, because you always realize. I mean, in my case, at a random moment, you don't slowly get used to it. You randomly be like, "Whoa, I'm in the middle of the streets, and I know where to go if I want to go there, or where to go if I want to go the other way." And it's just like, ooh, now I deserve something in exchange for this. That's true.
It's a comforting feeling.
It's a comforting feeling. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is that the way you miss things when home isn't home and you are far from home is different, and it can make you feel confused. It made me feel confused. Because sometimes I get this idea that I want to come back to Madrid because I'm homesick of whatever it is. Maybe, for example, I've got these friends that live very close to my house in Madrid, literally like 15 minutes away from each other. So we have this... I, once again, don't know if I have already told this story. It's going to look like I only have like 5 friends and 3 stories, which is kind of true. I won't lie. But still, they're my friends and my stories, so I like them. But they live very close to me. They're called Sebas and Marsu. Hola, I love you guys. I don't know why I said hola instead of hello, because I was speaking in English. Sorry. But this one year in particular, we would, MasterChef? Like the TV show, there's like a Spanish version. So we gathered every Monday, I think it was, because it was that night. We ordered pizzas, and we just did nothing. I was so stressed that year, and when I got there, I was like, I was bickering all the time, like, I'm so stressed, like out loud. But they would be like, oh, you're so young, because they're older than me, a bit older only, but old people, they're always complaining. But they would just like, it was very comforting. I cannot put it into words, but I really like just being with them in that house. It's not my house, but it does feel like a safe place. And I really, really miss that. And sometimes I'm here and I just miss having the chance of like just walking out my house, walking 15 minutes, getting there with like a package of biscuits or something, and having like a small snack all together, watching some YouTube videos and doing like nothing at all. And sometimes I feel like very concrete stuff. Like I miss Dad, for example, and I'm like, oh, I miss Madrid. I want to get back, but that doesn't mean I want to have the rest of the things that are in Madrid, or even that I will get these things that I'm missing once I get back. I don't know. Maybe I miss some certain food, like croquetas. Do you know what croquetas are?
I've heard of those, yeah.
Oh, okay. They're very nice, and I miss them. But normally, I don't eat that in Spain because my mom makes them, and I don't live with my mom anymore. So you can have these feelings while owning a home that you feel like is your home, of course. But I think it's stronger when it happens like it's happening to us right now. That the fact that when you leave your home for the first time, in our case when we moved, I think, you start to build different smaller pieces of home wherever you go. And this means that you will miss something no matter where you are, which can sound sad, but also helpful, because you'll never entirely be at home also means you'll never be entirely out of homes. So that means that even though right now I'm missing my friends and my mom's food and my cat and a lot of stuff, I'm building a home here, and probably there'll come a day when I'm sitting on my couch and I'll be like, wow, I miss that day where I was sitting on that couch with Jasmine and we were like randomly speaking of stuff. You could see the leaves falling through the window because it was autumn, and like the light was very nice and it was just like very peaceful. And I will feel that, and it will be sad, but it will also mean that if I ever get to go through these stairs again, I will have the comfort of like having a memory attached to them, so that plays a little bit more mine. I wanted to explain this better because I feel like it's like really important and it kind of like a conclusion, but yeah, I feel like that's important. It's just the way things are, and it means like there's not a problem like within you. So yeah, I don't know if you share these thoughts.
I feel like I can't say I understand completely, of course, but I didn't really have a similar situation because since you moved from the last 2 years of high school, so you have to move to a different place, and then you came here. I don't know if this relates in any way, but for me, whenever I returned back to the Philippines from summer vacation in Korea, I got the sense of missing Korea in that, like, the food, of course.
It's very nice food.
Yeah, the food, and also, I guess, the comfort of it, and just, I don't know, I just feel like because everything is so developed, just life in general is more comfortable in Korea. But even after I returned, I never got this feeling of, oh, I want to go back to Korea. On the contrary, it was more like, oh, I don't actually want to go to Korea. My friends always thought me weird for saying that I didn't want to come here because how could you not like Korea? And it's not like I don't like it. It's just...
It doesn't feel like home.
Yeah, like I didn't feel any sort of connection. But that kind of changed when both of my siblings graduated high school and they came to Korea for college. So I was with only my parents, and my siblings were here. So in that sense, I guess I formed more of a connection knowing that two of my family members are here. So I have more of a reason, I guess, to want to come here because I'm especially close with my sister, and and I shared a room with her growing up. So not having someone to share a room with and not having someone to fight with over the littlest things every day, that's, I think, what I missed about Korea. But of course, it wasn't really Korea, it was my sister. Yeah, so,
but you associate things.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's what I was saying before about I want to go back to Madrid. I really don't want to. Right now, I don't. I just wish some of those things were here.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I'm there, I'll probably want to come back here. I would just want the food, the people, and and the people, people are coming again. But yeah, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. And I don't know what else to say. Because I think we covered up a lot of stuff regarding home, not being home. Because I know it may seem like a very easy thing to talk about, but I feel like it's the more complicated one out of all the ones we have talked about. Because the last week it was home is a feeling, and oh my god, I had so much to say about that. Because I feel like
Yeah.
you write too, so you're probably also a very emotional person. Okay, so you can
Definitely.
probably
Yeah.
you can probably
Yep.
see why that's a like
Yep.
interesting theme.
Yes.
But with this one in particular, I felt it was like very difficult to approach it properly,
Yeah.
and I think we did a good job.
I like the way that you named it Home Isn't Home because like the concept itself, it's something I thought about, but the way you put it into the words home isn't home, it kind of, I don't know,
Really?
makes me think of it in a different perspective. I think.
Oh, it happened to me literally like 20 minutes ago when you said homeless in home. Like the concept of homeless in home, it's so visual and it makes a lot of sense. So I'm very glad that you came here. Oh, I wanted to say hi to Mac and Anto because like, fun fact, Jasmine wasn't supposed to be the one speaking here today. There were two other girls that are amazing and that were going to do this, but some stuff happened and they couldn't make it. And I like yelled. Well, I didn't yell because it was via phone, but I was like, "Hey, Jasmine, can you help me, please?" And she came here, so we didn't prepare like at all. And it's still, I think it was nice. You guys will tell me, but yeah, I'm very glad you came here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming, really. Because it's a Sunday. We're recording this on a Sunday. You know how the effort it takes. And of course, I can never forget this. Thanks. No, sorry, I was like a cough, like choking with myself. I'm sorry. Shout out as always to Rachel for doing the amazing music that we have, and to Gracie for the illustrations. I love them so much. They're so cool. Please do follow them if you like the music or the illustrations. The links for the social media will be uploaded. Do you want to share your social media? Of course you don't. If you don't want to, just don't do it. But in case like anyone likes what you say and wants to follow you, you can also do that.
Sure, my Instagram is jazz.sun with 2 N's, but I don't post very often, so not much to see.
It's okay. And I guess that's it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys are not feeling homesick, because that kind of sucks. But it's also what's bringing us together. So I hope you kind of feel a bit homesick, maybe. And I'll see you. Well, I won't see you. We will listen to each other in a couple of weeks again. So yeah, that's it. Good night and farewell.
You.